Welcome inside Turner Gymnasium, day 2 of the Wayne Proffitt Classic, getting ready to get underway. Andrew Watson and Kyle Haney ready to bring you all the action of this matchup between the Center Colonels and the Randolph WaildCats. Yesterday was a great day of basketball here inside Turner Gymnasium. Randolph picked up a good win against Marymount by a score of 63-59, and the other team from the Hill City, the host of the Wayne Proffitt Classic, picked up a dominating victory over the Colonels, 82-60. Kyle, I mean, obviously yesterday an exciting matchup. This one should be exciting as well. Two teams that we saw play in those games yesterday. One of them had a really great time, and one of them, it was a different story for them.
Yeah, Randolph comes in now winning 3 out of their last 4, including the 4-point victory yesterday. And you're exactly right. It's the opposite side of the coin there for the Center College Colonels. They'll look to get something out of this trip to the Hill City, facing another Lynchburg team. It'll be the Randolph College WaildCats. I love the event, the Wayne Proffitt Classic, day 2. Get 2 for the price of 1 basketball. We've got the holiday theme. It feels like it's in the air, Andrew, and we don't have a huge crowd in the gym, but I think they're going to be very loud and boisterous, and I think they're going to enjoy their basketball. Same with our LHSN crew. Nobody does less with more. No, wait a minute, it's the opposite. Nobody does more with less than the LHSN crew. And, yeah, we are excited for more hoops today.
Definitely a lot of talented faces here with LHSN, but that does give us a chance to take a look at a couple of the team stats here before we get underway. Right there for Center, 73 just about points per game. Randolph 67. Their defense picked it up a little bit yesterday, only giving up 59 points to Marymount. Center, on the other hand, gave up 82 yesterday to Lynchburg. That's going to be a point of emphasis for them. That zone defense starting 1-3-1, switches 2-3 when the ball goes to the corner. It should be very interesting to see how Randolph deals with it. Everything else pretty similar in that kind of style. I think both teams are very excited to, kind of play a team that plays their pace. I mean, Center obviously moves the ball very slowly up and down the court. 405th in the country. Randolph around the same, so it should be an exciting one.
Yeah, and those numbers are interesting there as we get underway, because you're about 10 games in. Randolph's 5-5, Center is 4-5, so you are starting to get a decent sample size to where those numbers probably are more of an accurate reflection of who you are. Now the coaches will say, hey, it's still December, we haven't found our identity yet and all these other things, but you are starting to get a taste, and the numbers do reveal some things and early points there to get it started there for number 3, Ches Moore.
Ches Moore getting that offensive rebound, putting it back up, getting on the board at first. That does give us a chance to run through a little bit of the lineups here. Rayvon Graham there launching a 3, knocking it down, taking the lead. But Danny Bickey on the floor along with Cole Perry, Landon Wagner, and Amari Gorham. And then on the other side for Center, same starting lineup as yesterday: Ches Moore, Carter Boffman, Isaiah Villafuerte, Cade Stinnett, and Caleb Mall rounds out that starting 5. Moore driving and spinning on Perry, gets to the block, throws it up, rims around, no good. Wagner, good defensive rebound with the taller Mall on his back.
Yeah, Wagner's 6'8". He's a big force inside. He's a senior. You and I were talking about this Randolph lineup. Got a pretty good chunk of seniors and grad students, so they have some experience. They've got high hopes for this season, and they still think they're heading in the right direction. And as I mentioned, 3 out of last 4 victories for the Wildcats, so the wins would back that up.
And Center also surging a little bit as well. Maybe the record not standing exactly where they want it to at 4-5, but they've also won, I would say it's 4 of their last 6 games. They started 0-6. It was 4 of their last 5 before they met Lynchburg last night in this gym. But, I mean, Center, a team that's really surging as well, so each team trying to find their identity, and they're going to have to do it very quickly. Traveling violation called against Carter Boffman.
Yeah, Boffman tried to slam the brakes there in the paint and just couldn't quite keep the stability. But it's an interesting trip for a team like Center, because you don't obviously want to go 0-2. Every time you play, you want to win. That's obvious. But there is some extra emphasis when you've lost that first day. You don't want the trip to be wasted. You don't want to feel like, hey, let's just get to Christmas break and regroup. You do want to get to the break with some momentum, and that's a chance for Center and Randolph to do that today.
We talked about it a lot yesterday, Evan Gates and I, in that second matchup when Lynchburg took on Center, and it was one that Lynchburg really dominated, leading for the entire game, led for just about 35-ish minutes, maybe 37. But, I mean, center really was trying to find momentum in the last couple minutes of that contest, not necessarily worried about coming back and winning, but just trying to push into today. Obviously playing a Randolph team who's been playing very well the last couple times they've stepped on the floor, and they know that with conference play looming on the other side of the new year, they're going to have to kick it in gear quickly. Moore inside, baseline, met with two defenders, goes up through contact from Landon Wagoner and lays it up and in. He's got all 4 of center's points to this point.
Yeah, tough bucket there for Moore, using the pumps. He's got 2 players around him, and you know at that proximity, you like your chances to finish, but it was a tough finish.
Center doing a great job here in the early going of switching from that 1-3-1 to that 2-3. You see it there, however. Kind of collapsed into a 1-4, which is not exactly a zone you want to be playing. Left that free throw line wide open for Cole Perry to put up a shot. Moore inside again, loses the handle on it. It'll be out of play off of Wagoner's foot.
Well, let's get back to that defense from center a little bit, because they did use the zone quite a bit yesterday, and with Lynchburg hitting all those threes, Andrew, that's obviously one of the first things you talk about in beating a zone, shoot them out of it. But center seems to have a commitment to it, and it does really change forms. It has to become amoeba-like. There's a good scramble in the paint right here.
Trying to put an up and in there was the team's leading scorer, Cade Stinnett, but not able to get it. But yeah, I mean, the zone switches from that 1-3-1 to the 2-3 whenever that ball goes near the corner. They start here in the 2-3 on this possession, but that's one thing that I was going to say they're doing very good to start this contest that they didn't do well against Lynchburg, was getting that switch, taking away those open corner threes. I know Pearson Young for the Hornets knocked down a couple, at least that one there contested by Stinnett. But I mean, open threes are really the name of the game if you're trying to beat a zone. If you can get that high post action against the 2-3, it'll put you in a comfortable spot. Lynchburg did a great job of that yesterday, kind of laid out the framework for Randolph, and they're trying to do that as well.
Well, for sure, and you'd like to, as a coach, see some of those things like attacking the seams. Maybe you can still go inside out if it's against that 2-3, get it to the free throw line, try to go to the short corner, all those classic ways that you beat a zone. You don't necessarily want to just come down one pass, shoot the 3, or pull up on the dribble and shoot the 3. You would like to probe that zone a little bit, get it to over-rotate, those things, and then it should lead to more open threes. Speaking of open.
Moore trying to drive there on Diop, checking into the game for the first time for Randolph. Not able to convert on the layup, but he'll head to the free throw line. He already has 4 points in this contest. He'll have an opportunity to add to that.
Yeah, I like how center is getting more involved, and some of it might be game plan specific. Some of it might be what Randolph's defense is giving center, but he seems to have a knack for getting to the rim. He's catching the ball in that high post area, and he's there in one dribble, and seems to finish and knock down the first free throw there as well. So Ches Moore, it's not quite a one-man army right now, Andrew, but pretty close to it for center.
Moore knocks down both free throws there. He's usually a 68% free throw shooter, so improving on his average just a little bit. He averages 12 points a game, so halfway to that here in just about 5 minutes of this contest. Randolph trying to break down that zone. Ryan Davis gets his first touch. Perry, great find on the baseline. Mustafa Diop, a great move, reverse layup. Comfortably puts that one up and in.
Yeah, combo of ball movement and man movement there. They do go to the free throw line, they being Randolph, and then they find the short corner man coming from the right baseline in for a relatively easy basket against that zone.
Inside, wide open, Ches Moore recovering Cole Perry, but Moore goes up strong with the left hand. Knocks through another. He's got all 8 of the Colonel's points.
Yeah, have an afternoon here, Ches Moore. He is a 6'6" senior from Louisville, Kentucky.
A lot of experience on either side. That one wildly offline there. Evan Weehee not able to convert on that. Colonel's an opportunity now to maybe take their first lead since they led 2-0. Obviously only about 5 minutes into this contest. Nothing to worry about to this point, but a couple of changes for Randolph, maybe trying to get that early comfort to the zone that the starters had. Hunter Coleman checks into the game for center. Now coming off a screen on the far side wing was Stinnett. They'll turn the ball over.
And it's a good contrast in defenses with center running the various zones and Randolph in that man-to-man, and it's interesting to watch how they're playing the screens and the handoffs, because this is something that we've talked about before. At the college level, Andrew, you've got to have multiple ways to play those screens. If you're in high school, you can just be a team and say, we're going to fight over the top of every screen, and that probably works. But at the college level, you got to have multiple coverages and multiple things that you can do. There's just a little spot of miscommunication as Weehee, I think, was looking for Bickey to roll off a screen, and it didn't materialize, and that's sort of an unforced error.
And it's something that Marymount did well yesterday against this Randolph side early, was keeping Bickey from getting those opportunities. I mean, you mentioned fighting under and over screens. I think with Bickey on the perimeter, you can't really leave him open from anywhere. Shoots a three ball from 39%. Weehee no good on that one. Davis rebound, goes back up, but blocked there. A good defensive play from Noah Ring. Keeps the lead where it is at just 1 point. Center an opportunity now going the other way.
Yeah, a little good housekeeping there. It was not great defensively early, but then that extra effort for the block from the backside, that was impressive. Center could take a lead here on this possession.
Inside was a great find from Stewart, and then going up through the contact. Noah Ring getting it done on both sides of the court. Will have an opportunity to go to the line for the old-fashioned three-point play. And that will bring us to our first media timeout. The under 14 one. The Colonels take their second lead of the contest. 10-9 is our score. When we return, Noah Ring will be at the free throw line to try and complete that three-point play. You are watching the Wayne Proffitt Classic on LHSN.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature, you'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Welcome back to the day 2 of the Wayne Proffitt Classic here from Turner Gymnasium on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. Noah Ring earning himself a trip to the free throw line, an opportunity to finish the three-point play. The Colonels took their second lead of the contest. They obviously led 2-0 to start the game in that first possession. Ches Moore, offensive rebound, puts it back up, and Noah Ring not able to convert, so just a 1-point lead for the Colonels.
Well, you mentioned this man dribbling, Danny Bickey, right there. We haven't seen him really activate and get involved in the offensive game plan just yet, Andrew, but you know it's going to happen. He's Randolph's leading scorer. He's gone over the century mark point-wise in his career. At some point, he's going to get his looks inside and out.
Trying to break down that zone by finding Wagner in the corner, but it's taken away. Center going the opposite direction, a chance to extend their lead now. Hunter Coleman, an opportunity at the top of the key, but it's Ring launching and hitting over Landon Wagner, brings that lead up to 4 points. Noah Ring getting it done on the defensive end with the block, the and one, and now a 3-point play.
Yeah, it was Ches Moore early for center. Now it's Noah Ring. There'll be a third guy at some point, but so far those two are enough to give the Colonels a lead.
Far side, Diop driving baseline. Ring playing good defense, does well to keep it in front of him. Weehee from the free throw line, back iron no good. Defensive rebound into the hands of Jackson Banks. Center looking good on the defensive end. Ring, another opportunity from 3. That one no good, however, and clearing out the space. Getting the rebound was Wagner. Bickey pushing the other way, still looking for his first points in the contest. That one no good. Front iron, long rebound into the hands of Coleman. Coleman nearly turns it over there, does well to keep the handle of it. Villafuerte will wave him off and receive the pass now. Chance to run things on offense. Coleman wanted to pull the trigger from behind the arc. Did a really good job of that yesterday, but it's Villafuerte, the leading scorer for Center in yesterday's contest. Not able to hit, but a foul on the floor on the rebound.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to go against Diop. A little too much on the box out there on the body contact with number 32, Jackson Banks. So Center's going to get another chance here to rebuild offensively. They lead 13-9. I like watching Randolph double those screens. We talked about how do you play those ball screens and even the off-the-ball screens, but those high ball screens, you can see them double initially and then slide back on the screen and roll. So pretty good, effective defense for Randolph. They're making it tough on the Colonels at the moment.
Yeah, one thing Randolph did yesterday quite well is knocking one through is Carter Boffman over the outstretched hand of Danny Bickey. But one thing Randolph did do really well yesterday on those screens from Marymount is that center, or that 4 stepping out to hedge the screen, did a good job of staying in front and getting back to block the lane. And I mean, they're doing a good job here in the early going. Center just hitting a couple shots, and Randolph struggling and sputtering out on the offensive end, at least in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, Randolph, for me, offensively has been a little bit of a mixed bag because they really haven't gotten Danny Bickey any open looks yet. And again, that will change at some point, but I think they've actually done a nice job working the ball to all the different areas of the court. And as I said, that you would try to break down those zone defenses.
Ring, pump fake, steps in, pulls up, no good. Rebound there into the hands of Fry. Caruso, inside space, kicking out, open 3, Wagner, that one gets it through. Randolph stops the run, cuts that lead to 3 as we get closer to 10 minutes to go here in the first half of this contest.
And that was case in point right there as far as what I think you want against that zone. They go right wing first, they fake a 3, then the ball gets into the paint, and then they kick it back out for a left wing 3.
Good pump fake, even better drive from Jackson Banks. Puts one in off the glass and in. But yeah, Randolph looking good on the offensive end right now, but that one turned over. A little bit of a miscommunication. Maybe just lost the handle. Gorham there and Nehemiah Fry. But either way, Center gets the ball back up 5, and they've looked a lot more comfortable than they did in that Lynchburg game. A lot of that must be because Randolph is not necessarily hitting from behind the arc at the same pace that Lynchburg was.
Yeah, Lynchburg hit 17 yesterday. That's kind of hard to account for in your game plan. I mean, you know when you've got Lynchburg scouted, you know they can shoot, but to pop off for 17 long balls, that is tough to stop.
Villafuerte no good, tip up, foul called on the floor. Not exactly sure who it was against. Number 14, Nehemiah Fry.
And just continuing the thought about Lynchburg, if you're Hillary Scott and his Lynchburg Hornet team, you've got to preach to your guys, hey, that can be the norm. We can hit 17 every game. We can hit 18. We can hit 19. Now, obviously, there's a danger in becoming too reliant on the 3 ball. And I don't think Lynchburg's at that point yet, but I think you got to use it as a confidence builder if you're the Hornets. Good baseline inbound play there.
Wagner applied the contact to Caleb Mall. He seems to be laboring just a little bit, holding his face. There was a lot of contact between the 2 players there. Nothing was called. The layup was no good, and it goes out of play. Do hope that Wagner is all right. Stinnett trying to get it inbounds. Does well to find Banks. Now Villafuerte, 17 to shoot. Inside Mall, backing down Wagner. Left-handed hook shot. That one not close. Rebound in the hands of Cole Perry. Wagner, pump fakes, kicks Klingerman. Randolph trying to break down that zone, hasn't done much to do so. However, inside Perry, met with contact from Mall, then kicks Wagner. Now 10 to shoot. Wagner driving past Stinnett, has the height advantage. Inside Rayvon Graham, great defensive play by Mall, 2 to shoot. Can Wagner get it up? He cannot. a shot clock violation, a great defensive stand from the Colonels, and they're really heating up here in the Wayne Proffitt Classic.
Yeah, that'll really get you going. You could see the bench and the coaching staff react there. They thought they probably deserved a call when Wagner was kind of bouncing around. Doesn't matter, you get the shot clock violation. Honestly, it might even make you feel better as a coach, defend the entire clock like that. That was impressive. And Randolph with a little token man-to-man pressure. You say token because once center gets it in, they just back it off and retreat to the half court.
And it's funny, a lot of times you apply that full court pressure to really slow down a high-paced offense, but Ches Moore inside through the foul makes good on that layup. He'll have an opportunity for a three-point play. Ches Moore having a really great game to this point, already up to 10 points in this one.
Yeah, Ches Moore got a little breather, and he's back out there heating up again. The one-man army had just 6 points yesterday in the game against Lynchburg. Maybe we should be crediting the Hornets defense for slowing this guy down. Ches Moore looks unstoppable at the moment here on this Wednesday afternoon on Wayne Proffitt Court.
Yeah, Ches Moore yesterday only playing 18 minutes in that contest against Lynchburg. But, I mean, for the Hornets, they did a really good job one-on-one defending. And we mentioned earlier Ryan Stinnett for center. Cade Stinnett. He, you know, that best player on their team, 17 points per game, but Pearson Young for the Hornets really put clamps on him. And Stinnett only put up 4 points in that contest. So when you can really scratch off the best offensive player for one team, it's really tough to come from behind, and now playing 40 minutes with that gave center an opportunity, but that'll bring us to a timeout. We will take it with them. 8-point lead for the Colonels. 20-12 is our score. You're watching the Wayne Proffitt Classic on LHSN.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
Welcome back to day 2, game 3 of the Wayne Proffitt Classic. Center improving on their performance last night. They have a 8-point lead here over the Randolph WaildCats, making the short trip across the Hill City. Randolph found a win yesterday, and they're trying to complete an undefeated Wayne Proffitt Classic. They obviously don't get to meet Lynchburg in this tournament, but those two teams already met one time this year.
Yeah, Lynchburg got the victory in a hard-fought game, as you expect in the Battle of the Hill City. And I love the fact that both teams have some local flavor and talent. You've got Rayvon Graham for Randolph, who was an EC Glass High School product. And we got even more out there as Ches Moore continues his impressive showing. Colonels are up 21-12. Working out of that pressuring zone defense again. Get those deflections. It's just even when the offense keeps the ball, Andrew, they have to work so hard to get anything decent.
Klingerman, good job posting up in the corner there, and an even better find from Rayvon Graham. There was a little bit of confusion on that last free throw attempt. I could have thought that Ches Moore went up with the and one, would have only have gotten one free throw, but maybe I missed something there. Either way, a bit of confusion.
Yeah, I think they called it an on-the-floor foul, and Randolph was in the penalty, putting center in the bonus for 2 there. But I'm with you. I thought he made a basket too, didn't he?
I thought so. I mean, looking back at the stats, I'll take a quick look. Is a great move inside there, Amari Gorham.
Yeah, I like Amari Gorham just while you scan that. Gorham's one of those bouncy guys. It's almost like he plays on a trampoline to where he just seems to get up above the rim pretty quickly, and it doesn't take him a lot to load up. He doesn't have to have a runway to get high. He can just kind of spring up, and those are great players to have in the game of basketball. He was around the ball there. That foul was on the center Colonels, however, though. It's on number 21, Cade Stinnett.
Yeah, so looking back at the stats, it does look like they awarded that basket to Chesmore to make it 19-12, but not exactly sure. Maybe a little miscalculation on my part somewhere along the way. Cole Perry mishandles that pass from Rayvon Graham. Either way, the score sits 21-17. Inside Mall, kicking out Villafuerte, uncontested three. That one no good, tipped out of play. And they'll say that it was last touched by Chesmore. It'll be Randolph basketball. They're kind of surging back after that timeout.
Yeah, I just can't say enough good things about center, though, Andrew. You know, you do lose to Lynchburg yesterday, and it's one of those trips. As I said, as a player, sometimes you're ready for the Christmas break to get here. You need a break from the coach and from basketball. So for center to come out here and really perform, I know we've got a lot of ball game left, but really perform at a high level. And you mentioned a great point. Your best player, Cade Stinnett, gets shut down. That can take some wind out of your sails as a team, but center is really showing no ill effects from yesterday. I just love the way they're playing in the first half.
Yes, center did have a long break before that game against Lynchburg yesterday. Before yesterday, they had not played in 2 whole weeks, so maybe coming off of that break, a little bit of a rust. But I know a lot of times there's some trouble, you know, maybe teams looking forward to the break don't play to their best performance, but either way, both of these teams playing quite well. 21-17 is our score as we head to the under 7 media timeout. You are watching the Wayne Proffitt Classic on LHSN. Welcome back to game 3 of the Wayne Proffitt Classic. Center with a 21-17 lead. It'll be center to inbound. I will say, didn't clarify it earlier. These teams do have the same colors. It's center in black with the yellowish gold trim, and Randolph in white with the same yellowish trim. So, I mean, pretty tough to tell the difference if you did not know from the start. But either way, Randolph doing a good job on the defensive end, shutting down a run after Chesmore, who seems to already be up to 12 points in this contest. Still a little bit confused about that, but either way, Randolph trying to plead their way back into the game, and the travel called against Rayvon Graham, trying to do a little bit too much.
And again, you can hear the center bench with the volume. They're getting excited about their defense. That would have turned into kind of a triple team, and Graham just couldn't keep the dribble going. So love the energy. And Randolph's not playing bad by any means, Andrew. I don't think Coach Pete Hamilton is in love with how his Wildcats are playing here early, but still very much a ball game as the three-pointer misses. Long rebound at the free throw line.
Banks not able to convert there, and I think the big difference for Randolph right now is something we see right there. Those three-pointers not falling to the same extent as they did yesterday on the floor, and maybe traveling with it a couple times. Finally, the whistle being blown. Diop with that violation. Couple of players on that center bench, hands up in the air, a little bit confused, laughing it off. But either way, a couple of substitutions on either side. Checking in for center, Noah Ring back into the game, along with Hunter Coleman Cade Stinnett in the game as well.
Yeah, Diop kind of looked like one of those military drills where he was rolling around on the battlefield under some barbed wire there for a bit, and the officials with maybe what you'd call a slow whistle, but I heard a great one in the NBA the other day, Andrew, and that's a slow played call that's right is much better than a quick whistle that's wrong. So good job by our officials to just let it happen and see it and then get the call right.
Very true. Things not necessarily clicking on the offensive side for either team to this point. Both shooting under 40% from the field. Rayvon Graham wanted to pull it. Klingerman an opportunity, but Cade Stinnett does a great job of fighting around that screen. But an even better find there from Klingerman to find Weehee wide open under the basket.
Yeah,
that lead back up to 2.
Sorry, Andrew, that was nice. He just scans the chessboard, watching some pieces move, and then Weehee finally gets to a really good spot there right underneath the backboard, and then it's one bounce up and in for the deuce, and now it's a 2-point game.
And that's what can happen if that zone doesn't switch, or maybe they over-rotate, as you mentioned earlier. And obviously a wide-open bucket for Weehee and a chance to tie or take the lead if Randolph could find one here. Here's a look at it. Wagner, that one no good. Defensive rebound in the hands of Banks and center. They're definitely looking for a bucket to end this short Randolph run. Boffman hands it off Stinnett, top of the key, 20 to shoot. Takes the screen from Ring, gets to his spot on the block, no good. A foul called on the floor. That one will most likely be going against Jackson Banks for the Colonels.
And that's one where the feel is important because Wagner dropped all the way off to double the screen and roll. And Noah Ring, who set the screen, floated out to the three-point line. If his defender's still in the paint, that's probably where you need to send it to Ring for the kick-out three. We've seen him make one. We know he's a capable shooter. And all those things are easy to say from up here, right? And with the benefit of hindsight, it's a little bit tougher to do when the game's going at the pace that it's played at.
And it's a center team that doesn't shoot the three ball also well, shooting below 30% at 29.1%. So, I mean, maybe not wired in to shoot a lot of threes in these games. They know that a long possession, kind of just grind it out in the paint, is going to be where they get it done. And Ches Moore, a dominating performance to this point. Another opportunity for a three-point play.
Give me some more Ches Moore. I think you're seeing right now for center when they need a bucket, get it to Ches Moore, and he's getting a lot of one-on-ones inside. At some point, Coach Pete Hamilton and the Randolph WaildCats are going to have to make a conscious decision to say, hey, when Ches Moore's around the basket with the ball, we need some more bodies at him. It might not be a true double team, but he better, see at least 1.5 defenders is a term that you'll hear a lot in basketball nowadays. But yeah, Ches Moore is having his way with things again.
Center very deliberate on the offensive end as Moore can't complete the three-point play, but obviously those longer possessions, very comfortable finding the open man, and in transition, a short possession there. Danny Bickey gets his first points of the afternoon, brings the Wildcats back within 1 point, and then a foul called on the other side against the Wildcats.
Yeah, so Danny Bickey, we knew he was going to materialize at some point. Is that his first bucket? Yeah, first points for Danny Bickey there with that three-pointer, and that was the early offense. I talked about how I love seeing Randolph go inside out, get to the paint first, then kick out for a three. But when you got the right arm and the stroke that Danny Bickey has, I think he's got a green light anytime in the shot clock, and let's see if they can heat him up. Yeah, from distance.
Deep three, Bickey side iron, no good. Davis trying to track it down, does well to throw it nearly to the rafters here in Turner Gymnasium. Wagner not able to get on the end of it, and it's Villafuerte pushing the opposite direction.
Yeah, that was fun. Ryan Davis was headed over to the broom closet over there after the save.
And then did well to hustle back on defense. Ches Moore riding the hot hand, no good. Back iron on that layup. Randolph an opportunity to take the lead. They dominated yesterday. They've been playing behind today, and now a 3-on-1 the other way. Cade Stinnett through contact, goes up, no good, but a foul called against number 15 for Randolph, Dasani Beeman.
Yeah, Beeman thought he was in pretty good shape, but the offense is going to get that call more times than not. A good job by Stinnett. He knew he had the defender on his shoulder there, and you can just get it up to to the right side of the rim, and I'm sure he would have loved to make it, but he'll cash in on the first free throw here and give center a 2-point lead again.
Yeah, Beeman already his third foul in this contest, I believe. So not exactly in the best spot for Dasani Beeman, but it's also one of those fouls that you feel very comfortable giving out in transition like that, make him earn it at the free throw line. And you never want to say that a foul is a good foul, but not able to put up the layup is always enough contact to make it comfortable. Inside now, no good on that attempt is Gorham, and now center pushing.
Yeah, Chesmore on the rebound, stuffing the stat sheet again.
An incredible find behind the back of the defense there by Villafuerte, and laying it up and in. Noah Ring brings that lead up to 5. They set up in that zone defense once again. Stinnett doing a good job. They seem to be just blocking off Bickey from wherever he stands on the floor, trying to deny that pass to the top of the key. Stinnett on the hip of the graduate student, but a great one-on-one move there. Amari Gorham gets inside, lays it up and in.
Yeah, that's nice there. I mentioned some veterans on this Randolph team. Gorham is not. He's a freshman, but that was really good. Back to that bounciness. It just does not take him long to get to the rim and then get above the rim for a nice finish.
Gorham trying to stop Noah Ring driving baseline, but comfortably lays it up and in through a little bit of contact. Randolph has an opportunity in transition. Davis no good, Moore on the rebound. This is about where we saw Randolph pick it up yesterday. It was a catalyst for Marcus Stubbs for Marymount to knock down a couple of threes. Great backdoor find. Stinnett inside does well not to travel with it, and then tracking back and getting the block out of play was Ryan Davis. But, you know, inside of 90 seconds yesterday, Randolph really picked it up and extended, you know, what was a lead at the time, but they do well to carry the momentum into halftime now.
And that's what's fun about watching a team multiple times, because when you see a ball club for two halves, Andy, you get an idea, you get an indication, you get to see some guys. You may not see their best game, but you see a little bit about what they have. But then, as you pointed out, you watch a team back-to-back days or multiple times in a season, you really can see those trends and see what they want to do. And I think you hit on something there with Randolph. I think under 2 minutes, Pete Hamilton likes to see his team really push it. Now, that would change, obviously, at the end of the second half if you have a lead. But, yeah, really try to get activated and get going with the running game, some early threes. And it seems to be working. In saying that, Randolph now is finding themselves down 7 points again in what was a one-point game. It felt like a blink of an eye ago.
Randolph a couple of good offensive possessions away. Danny Bickey nearly had to bring the ball up the floor, maybe not the most comfortable with the ball in his hands. Davis, baseline, pull up, that one no good. Long rebound, didn't draw iron. It ended up in the hands of Nehemiah Fry, who lays it up and in.
Another freshman, Fry, right place, right time. Sometimes a missed shot is your best offense, especially if your rebounders and your bigger guys are set up where they're supposed to be.
Randolph, a good mix of experienced players, a couple seniors, a couple of graduate students, and then already we mentioned a couple of freshmen. Amari Gorham, Nehemiah Fry. Wow. Great move there to get it inside for center. Brings that lead back up to 7. They've had every response for every punch that the Randolph Wildcats have thrown to the Colonels this afternoon. 3-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. Beeman, near side Bickey, trying to get an open shot for the graduate student, and a traveling violation called against Beeman. Kind of the worst case scenario there for Randolph, trying to maybe knock down a 3, pick up some momentum into that halftime break, but now it'll be center with an opportunity to extend on an already 7-point lead here. 12 points, 5 seconds remaining in the first half.
Yeah, it's just 12 and a half seconds. It's probably one play, but it could be a momentum play for either side depending on the result. You'd love to go in the locker room with a hoop.
Stinnett, top of the key, 6 to shoot. Davis closely guarded, hands off. Ring, pump fakes, 2 to shoot, drives in, right-handed layup, no good off the glass. A good defensive stand ends with a foul, however. That one a little bit of a late call after the buzzer, but either way, a couple of groans from that Randolph bench. It'll be Ches Moore at the line.
we referred to this a little bit ago, the slower whistle, but it's the right call, I think. So hats off to the refs, because a lot of times they'll fall into that, I don't want to say trap, but you're kind of like everybody. You're ready to get to halftime. He missed the shot. Okay, half is over. But I think they got it right, and of course it's who else but Ches Moore, again, from the free throw line. We do have .4 left on the board. So Randolph theoretically would have time for a catch and a heave, although it's barely enough time for that.
Moore getting fouled, trying to pick up the rebound for the Colonels, and the Wildcats really committing quite a few fouls here in the first half, already above that double bonus level. Moore knocks through the second free throw. .4, closely guarding Bickey would be the idea. He doesn't even shoot it, and that will bring us to halftime of game number 1 this afternoon in the Wayne Proffitt Classic. It's a 9-point lead for the Center Colonels, who have turned it around from yesterday's performance. They lead 35-26. When we come back in just a couple of minutes, we'll run you through some of the stats from the first half, along with some of the highlights as well. You are watching the Wayne Proffitt Classic on LHSN.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and road course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
Living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
Tim Slusser from the Outdoor Leadership Program gave a presentation at a Teaching and Learning Resources Conference here about getting his program more involved on the academic side of campus. I mentioned computers and mapping, and he mentioned caving, and eventually we came up with the idea of mapping caves.
So the week before we were able to learn how to use the instruments kind of like on a flat surface and just kind of get a hang of how they work. But it was really amazing how once we got in the cave, it was a completely different experience using them.
It was unique. It got most of us out of our comfort zone, kind of gave us a new experience, a new taste of something new. But I think the most difficult parts were getting the lighting right. You had to read the instruments with the headlamps while keeping your eye pointed on the plot point.
This allowed them to actually literally get their hands dirty, collecting data, conducting measurements, and putting all that together in the form of a map, and doing it in a place that's never been mapped before.
biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. "100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it."
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the athletic training laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are.
Test. I don't hear it.
This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time.
Test.
In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
How you feeling?
Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
Welcome back to the Wayne Proffitt Classic. A 9-point lead for the Center Colonels as they come back on to warm up for the second half. It does give us a chance to look here at the stats from that first half. Really standing out for me, that 3-point percentage. Randolph shooting well below their clip, which is usually up in the 30s in terms of percentage points, but 28% from beyond the arc. Center only 1 for 7 from the same area. They're not necessarily relying on that 3-point ball, but I mean, 3-point percentage is low. What really stands out there for you?
Well, I love the fact that you brought that up. For Randolph, it's 4 for 14. And I think you're right. That's below what Coach Pete Hamilton wants. He was a good shooter back in his playing days for Randolph. I think he falls under that shooters keep shooting camp. You know, there's a limit. At some point, if they keep missing, even Pete Hamilton's going to say, all right, we got to get away from that. We got to pound the paint a little bit more. But right now, I expect to see Randolph keep shooting the three-pointers. Again, Andrew, I would love to see it come from an inside-out kind of concept, attack the paint first, try to soften up that zone. Even a little bit more ball rotation. We haven't seen Randolph really swing it from one sideline to the other a ton. Not many skip passes. Try to get it from left sideline to right sideline in that fashion. So maybe more of that. For Center, standout-wise, I mean, I think individually they're getting a great performance there from Ches Moore. Ches Moore, 16 points, Andrew, in just 10 minutes and 42 seconds. You and I were talking briefly before the game about the per-minute stats. Maybe should be a bigger deal in basketball, but yeah, per minute, Ches Moore is really getting it done for Center. Find a way to keep him hot, I think, if you're the Colonels.
Yeah, they're doing a very good job of getting the ball inside and putting pressure on those bigs for Randolph to try and stop Ches Moore, and they haven't really found a way to do it, at least to this point. Also, Center getting the ball inside gives them a lot of opportunities at the free throw line. It was Randolph putting Center in the double bonus in that first half. Randolph, however, has not yet made a trip to the free throw line, and that is truly the difference in this game. When we come back in just about a minute, we'll get this second half of game one on day 2 of the Wayne Proffitt Classic here from the University of Lynchburg started. Welcome back. Things underway here in the second half of this contest. Score is 35-26. Center on top of the team from across the Hill City, the Randolph WaildCats. Inside, maybe trying to do something with it. Driving, kicking, Bicky, no good. But a good offensive play there for Randolph to give him an opportunity, and a great defensive stand as well. Rayvon Graham smacking that one out of the hand of Ches Moore in transition, and then off of Moore's knee. Out of play. Good job by Rayvon Graham tracking back and playing defense.
Yeah, Graham's a 5'10 junior. He's the guy I mentioned right here from the Hill City. He was a Hill topper at EC Glass High School. Fun to watch him play his basketball in his hometown.
Randolph trying to find something. Far side Bicky in front of his bench. Now Wagner. Opportunity. Perry cutting, and a foul called. That one is going to go against number 33 for Center, Caleb Mall.
You touched on it. No free throws in the first half for Randolph. That's going to change right here, and if you're a Wildcat fan, that's a good change. That means attacking the rim a little bit more. It was a nice cut down the lane line left. Officials are going to talk about this, though, Andrew. They may say this is on the floor, or maybe they were just changing the player who the foul was on. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be on Caleb Mall. That's his first, and obviously the first of the Young second half.
It was a tough call to make, whether he was in that shooting motion or not, but either way, Cole Perry makes good on that one. Shoots about 50% from the free throw line, but has only had 8 opportunities coming into this game thus far this year. But obviously a welcome sight. It must have been a point of emphasis in the locker room at halftime for the Wildcats to get it into that paint, try and fill up the lane, and then maybe drive and kick from there. And if not, I mean, you get fouled in certain situations like that. It's something Center took advantage of in the first half. So maybe point of emphasis on the offensive end and then play a little bit tougher but smarter defense on the defensive side for Randolph.
I think you summed it up right there. I don't know if Pete Hamilton's one of those coaches that tracks paint touches, but a lot of coaches do. And Randolph, I think you're going to see them get a lot more inside. Good scramble right here.
Center had to settle for a 3. Villafuerte couldn't hit. Ches Moore got the offensive rebound and missed that one. And then Caleb Mall in the area as well got an offensive board, and he gets fouled going up strong. So, I mean, you already see really the kind of points of emphasis for either side. The Colonels continuing what they did in the first half, putting pressure on that inside presence of Randolph, but Mall at the free throw line to shoot 2. Makes good on the first.
Yeah, I love Center's energy. You saw their entire bench jump up there at the end of the sequence. I love that, and as I said, sometimes in these Christmas break type of games, you're playing a neutral site game here. You got to bring your own energy. A lot of times, Center seems to really be doing that. I like that spark and that enthusiasm.
And you think if this was, during the semester, that Randolph would have a couple traveling fans over from their campus just across the Hill City, but got a couple local fans in the area here. Not as many as it would have been, but either way, Randolph comes out of the halftime break. They're pushing the pressure a little bit. They cut that lead down to 6. Colonels looking to respond on the other side. Boffman takes a bit of a screen from Mall, who then slips it again. Wagner does well to stay with him. This will be the matchup to watch. Outside, Boffman pump fakes, drives, loses the handle. Rayvon Graham picks it up. It was Landon Wagner in the area as well. And now Randolph an opportunity in transition. Looks like they might have had Amari Gorham under the basket with an open look, but great job by Center to shift over and tip that pass out of play.
Yeah, good hustle back there by the Colonels defense. You almost feel Randolph starting to build some momentum, don't you, Andrew? It's subtle, but it does feel like the Wildcats have a little bit of an edge right now, a little bit of a step on Center.
Bit of a buzz here in the building. Rayvon Graham, an opportunity from behind the arc, all the way in and all the way out. No good on that one, out of play off of the hands of Noah Ring. It'll be another opportunity, a fresh 20 seconds for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Pete Hamilton, he's one of those coaches that I really think he gets so much out of his roster. And I hate to say he gets more with less, because that kind of sounds like a knock on the players. He's got great players too. I just really think he puts them in great spots to be successful.
And a lot of that is that experience. Jump ball there, tie up will give possession to Center, but will switch the possession arrow back over and gets a lot of cheers from those Randolph fans who, when you mentioned it earlier, are truly grabbing the momentum coming out of halftime, but the Colonels just maybe a shot away from re-snatching that momentum.
Yeah, it does feel like it's that thin of a margin, though. Maybe one big shot from Center, and they could take that momentum right back.
Villafuerte finds Moore. And now top of the key, Stinnett. An open 3 for Noah Ring. That one rims around, no good. A box out there on Cole Perry goes a bit too far as Ches Moore hits the deck.
And that's a fine line for Cole Perry. I think that's a foul as a coach maybe you can live with. You want your guys being aggressive. You know, Ches Moore is an aggressive athletic player, so you're telling him, hey, get a body on him, keep it on him long. But at some point there's a limit, and Perry went over the line there. Another great call, I think, but I don't hate the aggressiveness.
Ring driving, had it poked away by Wagner and out of play Possession will go to Randolph.
And there's kind of a ball don't lie moment, Andrew, because Randolph ends up getting the basketball back anyway. Perry has to take another personal foul, but overall, again, a good aggressive sequence for Randolph defensively.
Top of the key, Graham finds Bickey. It looked like Graham might have had an open look, but inside Wagner just barely creeps over the front iron and in, and now Randolph setting up in a little bit of that full court pressure.
And a great possession there. That was snap passing. It wasn't catch it and look at the defense. It was catch it, move the ball immediately, and then you go to the mid post there for a nice little hook shot.
Great way to break down that zone. Boffman at 3. That one shuts down the momentum from Randolph for the time being. An immediate response to that great offensive possession, but can Bickey respond? Pulls up, mid-range, short, no good. Offensive rebound, put back, up and in, Landon Wagner.
Nice by Wagner there. Not exactly what we talked about with the paint touches, not by design, but again, sometimes a missed shot is your best offense, especially with a big man like Wagner down there patrolling the glass.
Anytime you can give your graduate student Danny Bickey a look from anywhere on the floor, you have to be comfortable more getting a couple of rebounds, not able to put it back up and in, and then smacking that one out of play was Landon Wagner. Just kind of maybe fed up with the fact that Ches Moore was going up aggressively and getting the rebound every time. Moore pleading his case for a foul still, but not earning that one.
Well, with the way Ches Moore played in the first half, it was a little surprising to see him miss a couple from that range, but it's basketball, everybody's human, and get it back to him for another chance soon.
Stinnett tried to go one-on-one with Klingerman, who did a great job of smacking that one away, but it ended up in the hands of who other than Ches Moore, who makes the layup, and then in transition the other way, an immediate response. Landon Wagner knocks down the 3, cuts that lead to 4. It feels like the closest Randolph has been in quite some time.
Yeah, fun game now. Now it's really developed into kind of just back and forth basketball. Two teams are punching, counter punch, and it's really fun to watch.
Villafuerte driving, loses the handle of it. They'll say that it was off of Danny Bickey, smacking that one away from Villafuerte.
Bickey probably doesn't get credit for being the defender that he is, Andrew. You hear about the scoring a whole lot, and we've talked about it some, but he is a very active, quick defender, understands the game. He's got that basketball IQ, and I think he knows what the opponent wants to do with their offensive game plan.
Good move here. Boffman step back, as smooth as it gets right there.
Yeah, that is solid right there. Boffman with just an individual move that is normally reserved for the association.
A great couple of passes there. Perry got it inside to Bickey, and then it was Klingerman cutting, who just lays it right into the chest of Wagner. Lays it up and in, brings that lead down to 5. But, you know, it's one thing to get it to 5. It's another to really shut down center on the offensive end and get a couple stops in a row. They got 2 right there, but it's 2 offensive rebounds. Boffman an opportunity. Weehee closely guarding him. He drives inside. Great move. Layup no good. Nearly another offensive rebound for Moore, but instead it's Randolph in transition.
Oh, good job by Bickey. Yeah, just a little tap pass there. This is really good basketball, and like I said, Andrew, it feels back and forth. It feels like two teams that are really starting to find out what they like, and they're getting after it. Now it's a 3-point center lead.
Randolph playing well, surging back. It is a 44-41 lead for the Colonels, and we will take this break with them. You are watching day 2 of the Wayne Proffitt Classic on LHSN.
My name is Alexis Fabula. I major in criminology and I double minor in psychology and criminal forensics. My favorite part about Lynchburg is the friends that I've come to have. It's helped me come out of my shell more, and it's helped me become the person I am and the student I am. I really enjoyed how small the campus was, and I also really enjoy how small the class sizes are. It made me feel like I was going to be more engaged than I would at a bigger campus. If someone was on the fence of coming to the University of Lynchburg, I would definitely love to sit down and have a conversation with them, because I'm forever grateful that I made this choice. It's definitely something that a student wouldn't regret. Out of my 4 years here, I've not had one bad experience. I've had a great 4 years, and I'm going to be very sad to go.
Back at the Wayne Proffitt Classic. This is day 2, the first game on day 2 between Randolph and Center. Randolph surging back into this contest. They trailed by 9 at the halftime break, now only down 3. Center doing a good job, however, with rolling with the punches from the Wildcats. We'll see what response they have to that incredible play from Danny Bickey on the offensive end.
Classic pick and roll basketball right there. Noah Ring sets the screen, floats out to the top of the key, and then bang, hits another.
Center has done a good job of rolling off of a couple of those ones. Instead, Noah Ring pops out, open 3, and knocks it down. And then the other direction, a foul called against Center will leave the ball down here with the Wildcats. But the Colonels really having an answer for everything that Randolph has thrown at them in this second half, having an answer for maybe an opportunity of a run for the Wildcats, but not able to really climb their way back in. I mentioned earlier, it's one thing to get back within a few. It's a completely different thing to retake the lead. Great set play there.
That was beautiful. Great design from Coach Pete Hamilton to have the inbounder come pop free and catch, and just a really, really nice 10, 11-foot jumper right there. Actually a tough range to hit the jump shot, but made that look really easy.
Good defensive positioning there. Klingerman in the right place at the right time. Takes the offensive foul from Center, and now going the other way will be the Wildcats. But yeah, you mentioned it, the most dangerous man usually when you're inbounding the ball is that inbound man. Not many people were around for Weehee to come off of what looked like a little bit of even a screen under the basket. Found the open opportunity, and the Wildcats will be looking for another chance here to cut into this Colonel lead.
Yeah, as a coach, those baseline and even the sideline inbound plays too, you can kind of go mad scientist and really concoct some nice combinations and different plays, and that was fun to watch.
Caruso no good on the 3, stinted in transition, finds Coleman, who nearly shot one up with a hand in his face. Instead, they'll reset, 18 to shoot. Boffman in a flow there, not able to hit. Now Randolph getting a couple stops on the defensive end. Can they translate it to a positive offensive possession? Bickey, pump fake, good find inside, and an even better floater from Cole Perry to bring it back within 2. Just one possession away from working their way back into a tie or take the lead. But how can Center respond on the other side?
Yeah, I think the Colonels really need to get a great look here. Don't settle for a good look. Get a great look this possession, and let's see if they can do it. Shot clock going to be under 10 here, so they're trying.
Boffman has it poked away by Bickey, somehow gets it back. Stinnett, an open 3, and makes good on that attempt right there. Something he was not able to do in yesterday's contest. Finally knocks down that first 3-point jumper. Perry just past the free throw line, no good on that one, and Stinnett is everywhere right now for the Colonels.
Yeah, this is, again, still just back and forth basketball. Really love it. Great field there by Center on that last possession to do just what I said and take some time and try and end up and get a great look, and they did that. Stinnett again this time going to try to show some post moves. He'll have to give it up.
That one, contact, spinning there. Klingerman hits the floor, goes down soft, and then a stoppage and a flop call. Simulation here against Klingerman. It looked like he might have gone down a little bit easier than normal. Obviously one of those really calls that's up in the air no matter who's in that situation. But
yeah, that's a tough deal for both guys. I like the powerful move from Noah Ring. He's showing he could score inside and outside. And as an official, you've got your points of emphasis. You've got your things that you've been told, hey, let's try to get that out of the game as much as we can. And he made a judgment call there. And we're going to get a little medical attention on the sideline before the technical free throw, Andrew. But that could be a momentum play. You know, it's Ring, first off, I love his game. What a great touch there to play through the contact. And then ball just rolled all around the steal and then finally dropped in. That was impressive, and we know he's hit a couple three-pointers as well. Don't see Ches Moore out there. I think he's at the scorer's table waiting to come back in.
Hoffman not able to hit on that one. But, I mean, kind of goes either way. You don't get that flop call. You have to imagine it was neither a block nor a charge, so it had to have been a flop for Klingerman. But, you know.
Yeah, it's a great point, I didn't even think to phrase it that way. But you're right. If it's not a block or a charge, and there's that much, as you said, kind of a body movement to the floor, then it has to be a flop. So, man, should you be a ref in your future? That was really well summed up.
You know, I'm not sure I could truly handle the pressure of wearing the stripes, especially in some of these heated games, as this one. I can assume if it stays this close and we get towards the end of this contest, it's going to be tough for the officials to really keep control of this game. Randolph got into it a little bit yesterday with Marymount, but nothing that really was too extra on the floor. Bickey, 15 to shoot, finds Diop. Randolph needs to respond. They nearly turn it over, and they do. Veruso not able to handle it. Stinnett in transition, goes up, gets fouled, and he'll head to the line to shoot 2 more free throws.
A smart play there by Stinnett. He again knows he's got a half a step on the defender. Officials are going to give you that call 9 times out of 10 there. It's just really hard to get a clean block when the defender comes from that angle. So that's again, good heady basketball there by Cade Stinnett, who's just a sophomore. Really, I think he's got a great feel for the game as kind of a young guy, and we know he, coming into the Wayne Proffitt Classic, was thought of as the primary scoring threat for center. I guess you and I maybe think it's Ches Moore and Noah Ring now, but yeah, Stinnett's pretty good as that free throw rims out.
Stinnett was perfect from the line before that one. He'll be 5 for 6 now, up to 8 points on the contest. So, I mean, sneaky working his way up to double figures. We'll need one more basket to do that, but I mean, it's come from a couple different places. We've mentioned Ches Moore, Noah Ring doing a really good job, both of those players in double figures for center. And then other than that, it's been a couple different guys in the scoring column. Boffman has 8. Speaking of Stinnett, he'll take it away, and then a foul called early on that transition play there on Amari Gorham.
Yeah, that was almost cat burglar-like there from Cade Stinnett to really reach in there and pick the dribble. Under 11 minutes to play, so if you're Randolph, you know you've got another run left in you, Andrew, but you don't want to wait too long to make it, and you also don't want to be down double figures when you start to make that run as well. So the Wildcats need to be careful.
Kind of at that point in the contest, a great take and a great finish from Caleb Mall. But yeah, I mean, you're kind of teetering on that edge right now of, you know, what is the run we've got and how much do we really need to be back into this game. You think 10 points is a lot, especially for a team like Randolph, but when you knock down a couple threes, it gets a little bit easier. Not able to convert there. A good defensive possession and a good rebound from Caleb Mall, and now center a chance to extend. Villafuerte on the drive, kicks it out. Mall free throw line, height advantage over Bickey. Bickey trying to step out to Villafuerte, who points 3 fingers to the ground in front of his own bench. That lead is up to 13.
Yeah, because of the way he grabbed the ball and the logo, you could really see the rotation nicely on that 3-pointer from Villafuerte. That was really good. Speaking of good, Danny Bickey.
Bickey trying to respond, and he does. A contested 3 in the corner, one that if it doesn't go in, you kind of question the tactic there, but either way, the Wildcats cut it down to 10. We'll take this break with them. 58-48 is our score in game number 1 of the final day of the Wayne Proffitt Classic here from the University of Lynchburg. You are watching LHSN. Welcome back. Short break, under 10 to go here in the first contest that we will see on Wayne Proffitt Court today in the Wayne Proffitt Classic. Kayla Maul does well not to travel with it there. Randolph setting up pressure pretty far away from the basket. Villafuerte tasked with ball handling. 10 to shoot. Inside, Ches Moore puts a body on Bicky, who hits the floor. And now in transition, Gorham, Graham, Wagoner, an open three, knocks it down. A great offensive possession in transition, using that smooth feel, and another timeout called by center. We'll stay here for this one. However, I mean, Kyle, it's really that game of runs that we're talking about. You knock down 2 threes, and suddenly you're back within 7. You were down 13. So, I mean, Randolph has to feel comfortable with where they're at on the offensive end. Where does it start for them, however?
I think it gets back to what we talked about, and you saw a little bit of it on that possession. Attack the rim, and then you force center to take that away, then go back out for the three. And that possession was kind of case in point. They got up tempo. Center was able to stop the true fast break, and then you kind of roll around for the secondary break. You hit the trailer there, the big man Wagoner, who is a 6'8" senior, but he could shoot it from distance as well. Don't become too reliant on the three ball if you're Randolph. Don't completely go away from the at the rim in the mid-range game. You see Randolph is throwing some full court pressure here. Andrew, this is just a great appetizer for Game 2 coming up, Lynchburg and Marymount. I know you're excited about that. I think you're taking the solo flight on the broadcast, but we'll see if we can change that. We might be able to bribe Tim LaDuca or somebody, and I can stay up here. But this has been a delight so far, and I think both teams should feel good about where they're at. Really, this last 9 minutes is going to be fascinating.
It's always fun working for LHSN, especially here in Turner Gymnasium. Good rebound and a foul called going the other way. Amari Gorham was in the area to get the board, and then foul called against center.
Yeah, talked about Gorham a bit in half one. He's a 6'6" freshman from Yorktown, Virginia. Definitely one that I'm going to keep my eyes on. I hope his career just continues to grow and develop.
Perry does well to keep a hand on that one, and then Wagoner, mid-range jumper, tough distance short on that one. Boffman gets the rebound, slows it down, nearly turns it over. Gorham was just waiting to jump on that pass to Villafuerte, but either way, ends up in the hands of number 11 in black. Ring nearly pulled up from far out. Inside Stinnett, little floater action, no good. Moore nearly got the rebound, but Wagoner tips it to his teammate, the junior Rayvon Graham, and going the other way, down 7, an opportunity to cut into it. Bicky, a good look over Moore. That one short. Wagoner, great rebound, no good on that either. And then touched out of bounds. Last touch by Cade Stinnett.
So both teams' last couple possessions just not quite able to finish some shots at the rim. A little bit snake bit there. Can't quite get the shooter's roll. I think you got to give the defenses some credit. They're contesting everything at this point in the game, and nothing will come easy from here on out. Randolph down 7. They're off the razor's edge, but they still have to play pretty good here. You'd rather be the team that's up by 7.
Rayvon Graham passes up in a wide open 3 look, but Bicky gets another one after an offensive rebound. Get it inside, break down that zone, and then kick it out for an open 3. That's what Randolph has done well the last couple of minutes. They bring that lead down from 13 to just 4. A good run for the Wildcats. Ring trying to respond, does not draw anything, but maybe an inch of the iron there, and the other way, Rayvon Graham for the Wildcats.
Maybe go right back to Bicky. You knew he missed a lot. Percentages say he's not going to keep missing.
Weehee launches a 3 in front of his bench on a possession that looked maybe a little bit broken, which will bring us to another center timeout. The Wildcats, a 12-0 run to bring themselves back within just 1 point. You are watching the Wayne Proffitt Classic on LHSN.
When creating a sustainable future, your choices matter, even your choice of a college. The University of Lynchburg is the first college in Virginia to go carbon neutral. Our dining hall is Green Restaurant certified. We compost all of our food waste and purchase our electricity from landfill gas. Now we're turning a hazardous lake into a thriving urban wetland. When you choose Lynchburg, you leave a smaller footprint while building a better tomorrow.
Welcome back, Wayne Proffitt Classic. We've got a good one on our hands. Just about 7 minutes remaining between the Randolph Wildcats and the Center Colonels. Center still leads by 1, but the Wildcats have been on a bit of a run going the other way, bringing it back to just that 1-point lead.
I think it's an 11-2 run, Andrew, and you really sense that Randolph does have that momentum. Now it's up to Center to try and respond, but some coaches don't think that way. Some coaches think we'll just keep doing what we're doing. Score doesn't matter.
Good defensive possession there. Chesmore gets another couple looks at it, but not able to convert on any of them. And now Randolph an opportunity to take the lead. Weehee for 3, but he earns himself 3 trips to the free throw line. Chesmore, a little bit too much contact, and Weehee will have a chance to give the Wildcats the lead.
Yeah, Weehee hit the one from the opposite wing in front of his own bench. This time he's on the offense's right wing. Chesmore came, I thought it's a pretty good close. I think he got him on the way down, but by rule, you're still in the act of shooting. So it'll be 3 here for Weehee and a chance to give Randolph their first lead since early first half. We did have those 2 early lead changes, but it's been so long ago, and I think I even forgot about it at one point that Randolph did actually have a lead.
Randolph last led when it was 9-8. The Wildcats tying it up. Weehee now an opportunity to give them the lead.
A really good basketball, spirited game. Like I said, it's a bring your own energy game. You know you're not going to have a big crowd. It's a midday game, so your routine's slightly different. I think both teams have really responded to the challenge, and now Randolph does have that first lead since the first half there. Good job from the free throw line. You're starting to feel some pressure build for both teams.
Wildcats retake the lead. Center needing to respond on the other end. They've really sputtered out on the offensive side. Last time they scored was about 4 minutes ago. Stinnett for 3, rims around, comes out and goes back through. Maybe that run that Stinnett just ended really lit a fire under this Center team.
Yeah, another lead change after a great shooter's touch.
Here's a 3 in front of the bench, no good. Rayvon Graham nearly got the rebound, but instead it just finds the hands of Boffman going the other direction. Under 6 to play, 2-point lead for the Colonels.
And we haven't talked about it, but part of the change for Randolph, Andrew, is they've gone to a zone. They're kind of matching up out of it, but when you watch Center pass, you can tell that it is a zone, and Randolph was in that man-to-man primarily for half number 1. So good adjustment there from Pete Hamilton.
Definitely feeling comfortable on the defensive end, and it kind of took a couple possessions for Center to really find themselves some good looks. Really denying the Colonels those paint touches in the last couple of possessions. Randolph trails by 2, looking for good offensive possession of their own. Bickey, pump fakes, now probing, looking for something, can only find Graham back. Deep 3 in front of 2 different Colonel defenders, but an offensive rebound, Cole Perry. Graham, Weehee, good look over Villafuerte, no good. Another rebound in the hands of Perry. Bickey, Weehee, another opportunity short, and finally Villafuerte steps in on that long rebound and puts an end to what was a very long possession with a couple of different shots from the Wildcats.
Yeah, multiple chances to take the lead again for Randolph. Just couldn't quite get the ball in the bottom of the net. Now you got to go to work defensively. Nice long possession coming for Center. It looks like, yeah, already under 10 in the clock.
Banks finds Villafuerte. Now Boffman spinning on Weehee, lays it off to Ring. 3 to shoot, need to get a shot off. Boffman step back, has to adjust midair. Not able to draw iron there, and a shot clock violation going against the Colonels will bring us to another timeout here in the Wayne Proffitt Classic. We'll catch our breath. 2-point lead, 61-59. Colonels on top, 4:17 remaining in game 1 of day 2 of the Wayne Proffitt Classic. You are watching LHSN.
Look what you're missing.
Welcome back. 4 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in game one here on day two of the Wayne Proffitt Classic. Marymount, you can see a couple in the bottom left of your screen there, getting set to take on the home Lynchburg Hornets in game two of what has been a very exciting day of basketball, and we're not even done with the first game yet. Randolph trails by 2, an opportunity on the offensive end. 1-3-1 zone, set back up by center. Weehee Bicky now pump fakes. A soft double team, and then back into the graduate student who lays it off for Weehee. Top of the key, and it doesn't get much easier than that. Great two-man game to give the Wildcats the lead back, 62-61.
Good possession by Randolph, and to me, just that a couple dribbles there from Bicky. The defense has to honor that penetration, kind of coming from the wing left to right, and then a kick-out pass to the waiting hands there of Weehee, who knocks down another one.
Weehee in the right place at the right time, working off of that pressure that Bicky obtained by driving. Now Boffman driving, Ches Moore, 1 to shoot, and puts it up and in off the glass. Brings that lead back up to 1 for the Colonels, and now we are truly going back and forth here in game one of the Wayne Proffitt Classic on this second day.
Yeah, 40 minutes might not be enough for these two teams as that ball, Randolph thought it was tipped. Yeah, I think the officials are going to get together. This is good, and this is one thing that I think in the modern game is so good, Andrew. Back in the day, officials kind of took that stance of, hey, it's my call. I was the closest guy. I got it right. Now our crews are much more apt to get their heads together and say, yeah, I think I saw a tip from over here, and that's exactly what happened. So Randolph basketball.
Bicky did a good job to leave that one. Weehee quickest in. Obviously, that we mentioned it earlier. Inbound man is the most dangerous, and he proves that point once again. He's scored at least 5 points after just popping in after inbounding the ball, and then a timeout called on the floor. We'll stay here for this one. I mean, Kyle, it's been back and forth the last couple of minutes. It was a 14-0 run for Randolph after trailing 58-45. They fight all the way back to take the lead by 1, and then since then, Center has turned it up a little bit on the offensive end. But what do either teams need to do in the last 2 minutes and 55 seconds to really secure this win?
I think if you're Randolph, if you could keep your foot on the accelerator, to me, that's the way to go. A lot of times teams will fight back. They'll fight hard to come back from the Randolph was down 10. So you work hard, you use so much energy, and then sometimes when you take the lead back, Andrew, you get away from the things that got you there. I'm not saying there isn't a time to spread the floor and slow things down, maybe go to the deep freeze, the stall ball, but I'd like to see Randolph continue to attack, get three-pointers in system, in rhythm, get it inside, then go outside. For Center, it's almost just the opposite to where they have seemingly taken their foot off the gas. They've worked some of those longer possessions in the shot clock, but when the clock gets under 10, Andrew, sometimes it doesn't look like they're ready for that moment. So if you're gonna run your longer offense and be willing to wait and shoot later on in the clock, have a plan, have a set play that begins with 8 or 9 seconds. Run your high ball screen action or whatever you want to run, but just have some sort of a plan. And for Center, I think they've been, for the most part, pretty good defensively. I think they'll hang their hat on that and hope Randolph doesn't continue to hit threes down the stretch. But Center needs a bucket at some point themselves.
Yeah, Randolph doing a great job of finding open looks from behind the arc. Boffman nearly had one for Center, but now under 10 to shoot. Obviously comfortable late in the shot clock, but it's important to get a good shot. Ring, a bit of a weak pass there to Stinnett, but a great move on that late closeout there. Stinnett driving in, floats it up and in, and we are all knotted up at 65 with 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
That was, again, great feel by Stinnett. I think he could sense that the defense was primarily on the right side of the court, and he had a one-on-one look to get to the basket late in the shot clock.
Randolph uses one of their 5 timeouts that they have remaining, and we will take this one with them. Tie game, 2:23 remaining in game 1 of day 2 of the Wayne Proffitt Classic. You are watching LHSN.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Welcome back, Randolph and center. 2 minutes and 23 seconds remaining. Tie game. Bicky into the backcourt. 20 seconds to shoot here for the Wildcats. An opportunity to retake the lead. Perry now near side to Gorham. Gorham top of the key. Weehee space inside. Wagner now lays it off. Weehee another look from behind the arc. That one not close, but draws iron. Gets a fresh 20. Good offensive rebound by Perry, and even better to find the experienced graduate student Bicky running off a bit of a defensive lapse at the top of the key. Knocks one down from the far side wing, and now Wildcats up by 3.
Yeah, center was really good defensively early, and then you miss the shot. Defense gets a little out of sorts, and Bicky took advantage.
It's important here for center not to settle for a shot. They nearly do, but Chesmore bails him out. Offensive rebound. It hits the deck. A bit of a battle for it. On the floor, timeout called. Great job there by Randolph on the floor. Not exactly sure who got the timeout off for the Wildcats, but either way, ends up saving a possession for the Wildcats. But I mean, just over 90 seconds to go. The Wildcats have fought their way back. They hold all of the momentum. I mean, center, it obviously starts with a stop on the defensive end, but I mean, it has to be important that you don't just settle for that first three-pointer you see.
I agree. You don't even have to go to the 3-ball right now yet if you're center. 91 seconds in eternity in basketball terms. I know that phrase gets overused, but it really, at this point, it still is. Now, center does just have the one timeout in their pocket, so that's a point of awareness there, and the officials are at the scorer's table discussing something. But back to center, I love what you said. Don't just take the first three-pointer that you find. And, again, the same things we've been saying about Randolph, I'd love to see center do. Attack the rim and then go back outside on a kick three, those kinds of things. And if you're center, also maybe get another player to the offensive glass. You know, Randolph has shown some success getting bodies to the glass offensively. Some of their best looks have come on second chance opportunities. So if you're the center college Colonels, as you said, starts with a good defensive sequence, and then also hold your nerve if Randolph ends up scoring, because you can go down 5 or 6 and still be okay in the game if you're center. Sometimes the team playing defense will give up a basket, and then they're so deflated and they feel like the game's over. Well, the game's definitely not going to be over, as our officials are still in conversation, Andrew. And as I was talking, I was trying to imagine what the topic of convo might be, and I'm actually still not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I always joke around about having maybe a microphone on some of the officials out here at these games, but I can only imagine what's being spoken about right in front of the scorer's table.
They've got the coaches involved, too, which is some indication there. Pete Hamilton for Randolph.
So I think the debate was how many timeouts center actually had left. Yeah. Obviously, we mentioned they only had one. That's what it said on the scoreboard as well as on the stats online. So, I mean.
But they have changed it to 2. So center, that a great point, and certainly something to be aware of.
So now center 2 opportunities to stop the game if they need to. Both teams have enough timeouts the last 90 seconds. Wildcats will do well to waste away time on this possession. 19 to shoot. They nearly turn it over. Bicky slowed down coming off of the baseline, but now 13 to shoot. Wagner has Weehee behind him. Doesn't get to him yet. Instead pulls up floater. Back iron no good. Perry offensive rebound and then tipped out Weehee who quickly puts it up and puts it through. Wildcats extend their lead to 5.
Second chance points again. Andrew Weehee finds himself remarkably open at the nail there. You shouldn't be able to get that open, but he did, and he made center pay, and now the Colonels want to talk it over again. They are down 5 after a big Wildcat basket.
And it has to be so deflating for the Colonels. You get the stop, and once again, it's happened time and time again today. Randolph dominating on the boards, 48 rebounds to just center's 32, and 18 of those are on the offensive end. So Randolph really taking advantage of the opportunities, especially when their second chance opportunities. I mean, they haven't led for the majority of this game, only 8 minutes, but I mean, they're gonna try to lead at the most important part, because obviously it only matters who's leading when that final buzzer goes off. But for center, I mean, what kind of play do you draw up here? Obviously, you just need points. It doesn't matter whether it's a 3 or a 2, and if you get them quick, maybe you can play the next possession out on defense.
I think so. I think for me it probably starts with the high ball screen. We've seen that work with Noah Ring floating out and shooting a 3. Now you can also run your high ball screen and roll and send Ring down the alleyway, down the lane line, and run a true old school kind of a pick and roll that way. And then obviously you're going to have players in the corners available for 3s. I don't think you feel bad taking a quick shot here, but it's got to be a great shot. We've said that phrase a couple times. If you're center, don't just settle for a good shot this possession. Let's get a great shot. Obviously, if the shot clock gets under 5, well, then you've got to get something up. But yeah, here comes a high ball screen with Moore.
Have to imagine looking for something quick. Ring an opportunity. Weehee, good defense in the top of that zone. Under 10 to shoot now on the shot clock. Boffman, Villafuerte, top of the key. No good side iron. Chesmore in the area. Who did it go off of? It went off of Randolph. It'll stay down here with center, but now you kind of lose that opportunity for 2 for 1. Now down 2 possessions.
Yeah, time really becomes important now. 31.7 seconds. Said it about Randolph once. Sometimes a missed shot is your best offense. Oh, that's not what you want right there.
Villafuerte trying to find the long pass under the basket to Boffman, but instead it's Evan Weehee coming out of seemingly nowhere to intercept that pass.
Yeah, how good was that read from Weehee? That was like Control-Alt-Delete, closing windows, and Weehee has been a force offensively, but Randolph defensively, they probably deserve a bit more credit than we're giving the Wildcats. 28.4 left. Andrew, all is not lost for center, but they got to play really perfect here in this last 28 and change.
You need a quick steal or a foul. You don't want to foul Danny Bickey, but that's who they put the ball in his hands, and he shoots free throws at a very good clip, 86%. He's been put at the line 43 times thus far this year.
Yeah, really smart by Randolph to go to him. Sometimes defenses will double the best free throw shooter in that situation. If you can do that, that's great, but Bickey's going to find a way to get open. He is so much fun to watch. He's just a constant state of motion, Danny Bickey, and if you're a young player, you do well to watch him play the game. Just his activity rate never stops moving.
Bickey makes good on the first, brings that lead up to 6. And knocks through the second one. 7-point lead. Colonels trailing. For a team who led the majority of this contest, it has to be deflating to be in this situation. Villafuerte driving and turning it over. Got caught in the air. Ches Moore putting pressure on Evan Weehee, and now the Wildcats can start to feel this victory. They come from behind. They take the lead with a 14-0 run with just a couple minutes remaining in this contest, and then they do well to hang with every punch that the Colonels threw in the last couple minutes, and they're going to walk out of here 2-0 in the Wayne Proffitt Classic.
A really gutsy performance for Randolph. I mean, they fell down double digits, and they got back in it with the great three-point shooting, Andrew. But then these last 2 minutes, man, the defense. Randolph has just made a commitment to defense. Center with a few unforced errors, but I would argue the pressure that Randolph applied kind of did force them into those mistakes.
Especially in the last couple of seconds, the last couple of possessions. Boffman, transition, 3 up, no good, back iron. Banks nearly gets an offensive rebound and does, and Villafuerte with time running out. That one no good either. And who else would get the rebound other than Danny Bickey? And that will do it. 74-65 is our final score. Randolph takes game 1 of day 2 of the Wayne Proffitt Classic. That gives us a chance to run through a little bit of the stats very quickly. First for Randolph, Landon Wagner leading the way, 17 points. Danny Bickey with 14, Evan Weehee leading the way with 19. So a lot of players in double figures for the Wildcats. And then on the other side for center, it was one led by Ches Moore, who got off to a really hot start in the first half and then really cooled off in the second. Good job on the defensive end by Randolph.
Outstanding performance by Randolph. They've won 4 out of their last 5. They're off until Saturday, December 30th, Andrew, but I think the sky's the limit for that ball club. And if you look at their wins, they get at least 3 in double figures when they win games. I think that holds true for all their victories this year, Randolph. And in this game, they got 4. If they can keep a balanced scoring attack like that, not become too dependent on Danny Bickey, not become too dependent on the three-pointer, too. We know that's a big part of their game, but you got to be able to score in some other ways. Randolph did that. Hats off to Coach Pete Hamilton for a great win. For center, man, it's a tough thing with these Christmas holiday classics and tournaments, because you feel like you played decent basketball on this trip and you got nothing to show for it if you're center. And that's going to be tough for their coach Greg Mason to try to rally his guys and get them ready for basically the second half of the season. But this was a fun one. I think game 2 is going to be even better. I mean, 4 games in less than 24 hours. It's a hoop head delight up here at the Wayne Proffitt Classic, Andrew.
So Randolph takes game 1 yesterday against Marymount. They take game 2 today against Center, and the Hill City rivals of the Hornets will take their short bus trip back to their campus happy. They'll take a break until December 30th before restarting conference play in the new year. For LHSN, for myself and Kyle Haney, we thank you for watching the game 1 of the Wayne Proffitt Classic here on the final day of what has been a very exciting 24 hours of basketball. We hope to see you back in just about 20 minutes as Lynchburg takes on Marymount in the final game of the Wayne Proffitt Classic.